Hey y'all, hey. This is Miss Leslie B and welcome back to my channel, okay? Go ahead and like, subscribe, share, follow, all that good type of things. Today's subject is all about depression, or rather high functioning depression, or functional depression, right? So, when you're first looking at depression, and yes, I got some notes. When you're looking at depression, okay, so depression, according to Google, is a mental health condition that affects 1 in 6 people at some point during their lifetime. It can take many different shapes and forms, and it affects people in different ways. High functioning depression or functional depression is a term that is sometimes used to describe experiencing symptoms of depressive disorder. But to the outside, to everybody else, you look fine. You're maintaining day to day living, maintaining, going to work and all of that. But then once you go home, you're in a depressive state to the point to where you don't want to do anything else. You don't want to basically live, or not necessarily live, but you all you do is go home and sleep. Okay, you go home, sleep. You have such a to-do list, but nothing has priority. So, and it could lead to significant internal distress. But yeah, you're maintaining work, you're maintaining social obligations, you're maintaining family commitments. So, like, you have a family reunion or y'all are going out to dinner, you go, but once you get back home, you're in a state of basically where you don't want to do anything. You're in a stuck state. It's like, you want to do some things, but for whatever reason, everything is it's a difficult task. Sweeping the floor is difficult. Cleaning the house is difficult. Okay. So, some symptoms that you could be experiencing, or what people exhibit when they're going through the functional depression, is persistent sadness, low energy and fatigue, difficulty concentrating, changes in your sleep and appetite. Those are a couple of the symptoms. And so the reason why I chose this topic is because I realized myself a couple of weeks ago that I was exhibiting quite a bit of these symptoms. And my mother passed in December 14th, 2024. And we had her service, or funeralized her, December 21st, 2024, right? And so December 21, that's a couple of days before Christmas. And then her birthday, it was literally in January. So there are 3 weeks. We celebrate Christmas, New Year's, and then my mom's birthday. So I realized in May that I was experiencing these symptoms, or not necessarily these symptoms, but I realized that there was something was going on, but I couldn't figure out what it was that I was feeling. I wanted to talk to someone, but I couldn't figure out who I wanted to talk to, or who I was having the urge to want to talk to. And it took me a while. Now, yes, May is Mother's Day, and then Father's Day is in June. And so May is Mother's Day, Father's Day is in June. My father passed in 2022, so I don't have my father, I don't have my mother. Okay, so I still participated in activities, and that's what this says is you continue to maintain your work, you maintain your social obligations, and you maintain family commitments. So then that means that I'm still going to work every day, but then when I get home, it's and for me, because I have businesses and different things, and I know what I need to get accomplished. I couldn't find the way, I couldn't figure out how to get those things accomplished. And then, even with the social obligations, I'm hosting events, I'm hosting activities, going and participating with different events for my business, to build my business. And there are times when, yes, I can work fine. And then there are times when it's like overwhelming. And so I had to figure out what was going on. And I continued to pray and ask God. And one day it just fell in my spirit that functional depression. And so I went to Google and searching what that meant for me. And so for me, I'm like, ew, I'm clinical. This is, textbook what it means is that, I'm functioning, I'm participating in these activities. I went to my nephew's gender reveal, doing all of the stuff with the family, going to stuff with my friends. But then when it's time for me to go home and when it's time for me to check in for myself, I could not check in. So, I realized, like maybe 2 weeks or so ago, that I was functioning or functional depression, which means that I've gone through roughly 2 months or 2.5 months of dealing with depression. Now, this isn't my first time with functional depression. When I lost my children, I also experienced functional depression, and I always said that it was due to the birth control that I had, because I had a implant, and I continued to go through this. I would go to work, and for the most part I went to church and saw my family, but then I would go home and I'm lying down, I have no more energy, I am 100% depleted. And so what happened was, what happened during that time frame of me losing my children, I continued to pray, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but help me get back to me. Help me get back to me. Help me get to who I am. So, because I wanted to get back to who I am, one day again, it fell in my spirit to Google the birth control, the implant that I had. And not only just Google it, but search the side effects. And depression was one of the top 2 or top 3 side effects with that birth control. And so the following day, I scheduled an appointment to have that implant removed. So this is, from what I can recall over my lifetime, the second time that I'm experiencing this high functioning depression. And truthfully, a lot of working people, I'm pretty sure, suffer or deal with, experience high functional or functioning depression, functional depression. Why? Because there are.
Do you need to go to the doctor and don't have insurance? Do you need dental work or eyeglasses? Look no further. I have medical plans that start at $0. Click the link below to see your options.
So many different things that go on in our life. Number one, we're consistently aging. You're consistently trying to have a relationship. You're consistently trying to, build, so you have a relationship where you have either a spouse or a partner or something, and you're trying to make sure that you are not coexisting in a space, but you are working together, as one. How did you end up as a married couple? So, but again, I'm not talking about that. It's just, how do we, move to the next stage? And so, again, we are always on the go. You have so many social activities and social obligations where you're participating with many organizations, and you're doing community service, and you're giving back to the community, and then you're going to church and doing this, and you have children, and then you have work, and then you have siblings, and then you have family activities. And so it becomes a lot. And you have life to happen. Life can happen in any instance. Life can be the fact of you functioning, doing everything like you normally do, and you have an accident, a car accident where you now lose a portion of a limb. You are shot in a portion of, you something happens with your body to now, you're now having to relearn how to use your body parts. So those are trauma events. Those are events that cause trauma. Even losing your children or your children growing up, those can also cause trauma, because sometimes you continue to look at your children, even though they're teenagers, you look at them as they're 7 and 8, or they're young adults, 21, 20, and you're looking at them as if they're still 7 and 8 years old. And you did not transition, you didn't grow with them as they grew. So they grew and started to, experience life in a different manner. But you're still treating them as if they are 7 and 8 and not 12, 14, 21. Those are pivotal moments in our lives. They start learning how to drive. They need to know how to cook. I mean, it's just, a lot of different things. So then you may have a child that has a child as a teenager. Again, that's traumatic, because what you may have been preparing your child to go to college or whatever, and then they end up doing something else. So now you have to help coach them through that phase of their life, okay? So when we're looking at the symptoms, persistent sadness, low energy, fatigue, difficulty concentrating, and changes in your sleep and appetite. So, divorce is a traumatic experience, or a separation where you've been in a relationship for an extended period of time, and now one of the two people have decided to walk away from that relationship, but the other one is still holding. It can be traumatic, and those things cause, it becomes a domino effect. And how we deal with the trauma, do you go to a therapist? Do you even know what to talk about when you go to therapy? Okay. So the persistent sadness. And sometimes, you may not necessarily be sad. For me, I did not know what was causing me to have these feelings initially. And I kept saying too, I'm consistently thinking about my mother and trying to figure out if that is where it's coming from. The fact that I've lost her and I'm used to talking to her every day, and now I can't talk to her, now I can't hear her voice, now I can't bounce ideas off of her. And so yes, it can cause sadness. Yes, and then the low energy and fatigue. There are times where, a lot of times, the low energy means, and fatigue means, that basically all of your energy is depleted after you left work. You have no more energy to do anything else. You barely cooked any food or barely stopped at McDonald's or whatever in order to get some food to eat. And then the difficulty concentrating. How do you stay on task? Do you have a 6 most important things to do list for daily? I know that's something that I've started implementing the past couple of weeks, is making sure that the tasks that I set forth for the what's most important today may not be what's most important tomorrow. So am I re-examining that on a day-to-day basis? Or is it just a flyby, you flying by the seat of your pants, you just winging it, per se. And then the other symptom is change in sleep and your appetite. For me, honey, I still eat. I like food. I like food, but my change became in my sleep, because it was a little more so, I need a nap, I need a nap, I need a nap, I need a nap. And so, yes, there are a lot of misconceptions or challenges when it comes to depression, because first of all, most people don't want to be, I am not depressed, I am not, this, that, and the third, and they don't want to be labeled anything. They don't want to go over here and for people to say that they're crazy and they're taking medication and stuff. At the end of the day, I know when I lost my children, my focus was I did not want any medication. What I wanted was in which I didn't even actually see a therapist until after I left my ex. But my focus was not necessarily on giving me medicine. I did not want medicine. Give me actionable steps that I can take in order to progress into the next level. The other thing I learned for myself was exercise. Exercise is like a decompressor. When you can go out and walk, jog, walk a mile, put your walking shoes on and go walk a mile. The sweat that comes out of you is that stress that was on you. It's that trauma that was embedded deep in you, and it now releases. It comes up. You no longer have your shoulders are no longer weighted down. That's what walking and exercising did for me. Okay, I can't say what that's gonna do for anybody else, but I know that's what it did for me. And then I also decided to change what I put in my mouth. For the most part, I try to eat healthy. And I'm not gonna say 100% clean, because I still like cookies and chips, but I do try to eat clean. I do try to eat food that has nutritional value, that's going to energize my cells and not make me so tired and worn and all of that. Okay. And then it's also important to seek help, because sometimes, and what I mean by seeking help is, it could literally be you reaching out to friends and family and saying, hey, how are you? I'm not in a good space mentally. I don't really know what the issue is, but I'm not in a good space and I need some assistance. That's seeking help. And your friends may pull up on you, give you an
Do you know someone that's experienced cancer and their quality of life changed? They ended up having to sell their home, sell their property. Guess what? There's an insurance policy that can keep you from having to lose all of your things that you work so hard for. Click the link in bio so that we can get you some coverage today, okay?
Opportunity to laugh. Laughter is good for the soul. Laughter is good for your stomach. Laughing for 10 minutes is just like if you was to go to the gym, because it helps move those stomach muscles. It's important to seek help. And so, and that's what I did for myself. I reached out to my village and I said, hey, I just realized that I'm experiencing, or I have been experiencing functional depression. And I just need some encouragement right now. Because the reality is in Psalm 23, where he says, you anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Well, guess what? If my cup is empty, I need somebody else to help me refill my cup. And sometimes, and I mean, yes, God is there. And sometimes we also need physical. We need something physical and not necessarily God, but he also puts people, places, and things in our path that can help us get to the next place of where we're trying to go. So I hope this has been enlightening for you today. I hope this has helped you as it has been helping me grow, be a better person. And go ahead and like, comment, share. Go ahead and follow me. My goal is to get back to posting on a regular basis. I am Miss_Leslie B on my social media. Those are my social media handles are TikTok, Instagram, and even YouTube is all the same. Miss_Leslie B. Snapchat too. Miss_MS_Leslie LESLEY B. Okay? Go ahead and like, follow, subscribe, share with everybody that you know, because it's time for us to break the cycle. It's time for us to break the stigma on mental health, because we all have things that happen. We all experience death. We all have experienced death. You may have an aunt, an uncle, a favorite cousin, grandparents, parents that have passed, and it caused you trauma. And the trauma may be significant, it may not be, but it's now time to come out of it. Come out of it. Come out of it. Focus on your healing. Focus on your mental health. And as a matter of fact, the next time you see somebody and they look like they going through it, you know that they're going through it. A lot of times, you know, we have people that we consistently talk to. Sometimes all people need is a hug and to know that somebody cares. Show them that they care at this moment. Okay? So thank y'all so much for joining me today. Honey, go ahead, like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good things. Honey, it is time for us to come out of this functional depression. And I mean, trauma will happen for the rest of your life, but you don't have to consistently stay in the same state that you're in. All right? Have an amazing day.